Hello, everyone. My name is Nicole Luongo. I'm a white man with blonde hair, large black glasses, and a floral print shirt seated in front of a purple background. I use he, him pronouns. For my second video in this Disability Pride Month project, I'm joined by my friend Nicole. Nicole, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
So I've got the same 4 questions that I've been asking all of my respondents. Do you want to give a bit about yourself and a visual description?
Sure. I am an Italian-American woman with medium tan skin, dark brown, straight hair, and I'm wearing a red top. And there's a yellow wall behind me with a painting of like a beach scene with clouds and umbrellas and blue water. I'm an author of a poetry book that's going to be in print 20 years this December. I'm also a published writer and a disability advocate. I advocate for cerebral palsy awareness and selective dorsal rhizotomy surgery, which I had back in 2013.
Fantastic, thank you. Nicole, it's been a wonder to see your advocacy grow in the writing space and the speaking space and the oddly specific space of getting buildings to light up certain colors on certain days.
Yes, thank you.
Of course. Let's go ahead and get started. I know that you have a busy day. Nicole,
Sure,
what does disability pride mean to you?
Well, it's funny that you asked this question because you know I came prepared. Let me tell you what I posted last year on Instagram. And I said, disability pride means that we are proud of who we are, what our minds and bodies can do, and that we no longer apologize for what we can't do.
That is very impactful. Sometimes I tell myself, you know, even if it's not very good, my body is doing its best at keeping me alive and somewhat functional. So I totally sympathize. What is one thing you want non-disabled people to know about disability life?
What I want non-disabled people to know about disability life is that they don't know what it's like. I have a big family and I don't think any of them have really ever asked me, like, what is it like to have cerebral palsy? What does it feel like in your body? Or what can you do and what can't you do? Because I have my own cerebral palsy, Nico. So I basically present as normal, shall we say, or someone who maybe I don't look like I have cerebral palsy. You know, we talk about that a lot, you and me and our circle of friends, of how frustrating it can be, no matter if you have a chronic illness or a disability, but maybe you don't look like you do. Well, looks, as they say, can be deceiving. It doesn't matter what you look like. Things are going on in our minds, in our bodies that affect us. And I wish that non-disabled people realize that more than I feel that they do.
That's true. I know that we have a perhaps constructed binary of visible versus invisible disabilities, but I tend to think also that a lot of what we would consider invisible disabilities would be visible if we just paid more attention to disabled people.
And pay attention to what they're telling you. I mean,
Yes.
I have instances where I'm like, look, I can't do that, or I'm tired. I need to sit down and take a break. And it's not really, it's not honored. And I think that people need to honor what we say, because maybe to somebody, I don't look like I'm tired because I'm keeping up with everybody. I'm doing my best, but it doesn't mean that I don't feel tired and that I still don't need a break.
That's entirely valid. After so many decades on this earth, living in the same body, you would think that you would be kind of the expert, but what do I know? Nicole, what are some lessons that being disabled has taught you?
That's a really great question. I think that I'm in the camp, I think there's maybe a couple of different camps. I'm in the camp of I wouldn't be the person I am today if I didn't have cerebral palsy. Because as many of us know, when you grow up with a disability or you acquire one later in life, you have to learn how to adapt. You just do. So it's taught me how to adapt. It's taught me, I think, how to be resilient, because that's kind of like my middle name. Like, I just keep going. It doesn't matter. Like, something happens, it doesn't go the way I want. Okay, let's shift gears. And although I don't think I consciously thought about that, like growing up, that maybe my having cerebral palsy prepared me for some of the things that would happen later in life. But when I talk to people like you and other friends, I think that it surely had to play some role. And I believe that I would be the same person if I didn't have a disability, but let's say that I'm more tuned into, I think, empathy for other people, kindness, which I know is a big theme for you on your show. And just to live your life like everybody else. And that's what I try to put out there, because I think a lot of people with disabilities, unfortunately, they beat themselves up all the time. And life is hard regardless if you have a disability or not. So if you're talking to yourself negatively all the time, you're going to feel like crap all the time. And that's just going to make everything worse. So I try to put it out there that if you can try to talk to yourself just a little bit kinder every day, and work on yourself just a little bit, things will get easier. Now, I'm not going to say you're not going to have bad days, because we all have them. And having a disability can be hard. It can be challenging, and that's okay. But just don't allow it to determine your worth, because you are worth just what everybody else is. It doesn't matter that you have a disability. Everybody is inherently worthy. And if we remind ourselves of that, that's when I think our lives can really take flight.
Thank you so much, Nicole. You know, you are the only person who has to live with yourself your entire life. So if you're not able to speak kindly to yourself, it's going to be a real long, hard road. Finally, what have you had to perhaps unlearn as a result of being disabled?
I would say, and I'm still working on it, thanks to knowing people like you and Marie, who's a friend of ours, and other people in our community, probably unlearning. And I'm still trying to grasp the concept of ableism. I'm not 100% with, like, I don't believe that everything is ableism. I just don't feel that way. But I never really knew the term until maybe, I don't know, a couple years ago, or whenever it was. And so I really start thinking about, because I know we talk a lot sometimes about internalized ableism, which, I mean, mind blown, because I didn't grow up with any of these terms. I didn't know. And so I think I'm trying to unlearn that, and also retrain, how we have to maybe retrain how we think about something and how we apply it to ourselves, or how we say, hey, no, this doesn't apply to my life. I'm not subscribing to this. I don't have to. Just because if somebody puts a label on us, doesn't mean they're right. So I think that that's something that I always remind myself. Like, if someone decides that I'm X, Y, or Z, go ahead. You can feel whatever way you want, but the only person who labels me is me.
Absolutely, absolutely. As we do our spring cleaning, or by now, more like our summer cleaning, why not let go of expectations the same way we would let go of clothes we no longer wear?
I love that.
Thank you. Nicole, where can people find you around the internet?
People can find me on my website, NicoleLuongo.com, NicoleLuong as in George O.com. And on Twitter, I am green, the number 4 CP. And on Instagram, I am at what CP looks like, which is the hashtag that I created quite a few years back.
Fantastic. Nicole, thank you so much for joining me and helping me launch this project. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Nico. You're one of my favorite people.
Oh, thank you. All right. Take care of yourself, okay?
You
All
too.
right.